Well, welcome everyone. I'm Cindy and this is our Hatha Yoga for 50 plus. And today's practice, we will be working with hips and shoulders. Again, all the sitting that we do, we're slumping a little more and our hips are in that seated position more often. So this will hopefully give us a little bit more sense of opening, and also we'll do some strengthening, which also can help with the way you're feeling. Let's begin by sitting tall and letting the eyes fall gently closed. And bringing the awareness into your body. Allow yourself to settle. First into your base, your feet, your legs, your pelvis. And then settle down from the shoulders through the arms. And settle down from the top of the head down through the spine. Keeping that sense of being grounded and heavy, but allow the spine to stretch upwards. With as little effort as possible, come into a lifted posture. And become aware of your breath. And allow the breath to flow in and out through the nostrils. And if it feels right, natural, allow the breath to become long and deep. Now let's bring the hands together at the heart, palms facing, fingertips touching and thumbs resting on the sternum. If you like, you can internally state a dedication or an intention for your practice today. Now we'll tune in with Om. Namaste. Okay. So we're going to begin today in a comfortable seat. Any comfortable seat would do. You can have your legs out or wide or crossed, whatever you like, because we're going to start by letting the shoulders come up towards the ears with a little bit of a squeeze in the trapezius. Take an inhale here, and then as you exhale, sigh out your mouth and drop the shoulders down. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale. And just do that a few times. Inhaling to bring the shoulders up and exhaling to let the shoulders drop down. Let's let this be the last one. And then letting the shoulders just relax down for a moment. Maybe you feel the tingling or the blood rushing into that space. And then let's roll the shoulders. So taking the shoulders up towards the ears and then back and down. Take a nice big circle. You can still inhale as you reach the shoulders up and back, and exhale as you move them down and forward. And then the next time the shoulders are up, reverse the direction of your circling, just a few times to the front. And then again, soften, come into stillness, let the shoulders relax down. Notice the sensations in the trapezius. And then let's stretch open the neck by dropping the head over towards one shoulder. Come back through center, go to the other shoulder. Move back to center and then let the chin fall towards the chest. Try to just relax as much as you can and let gravity take hold of the head. See if that'll increase the sensation in a pleasant way. And then keeping the head bowed forward, slowly rock the head over towards one shoulder, but then chin to chest and rock to the other shoulder. Taking these half circles a few times, maybe letting the motion become big enough that your gaze lifts slightly. And take your time. If there's any discomfort or crunching or things that don't seem right, then just let the head hang down. And then the next time the chin comes to the chest, leave it there. Take another breath, just relax as much as you can. And then gradually lift the head back up. Good. Let's bring hands to the shoulders. And we're going to flap our wings, taking the elbows straight up as much as you like, and then straight down by your sides. You may be able to drop the head slightly forward and touch the backs of your wrists together behind your head. Just an option, not a requirement. And then the next time the elbows are generally up, leave them there briefly. And then circle the elbows back and down and then forward. One more circle, big lift up, back and down. And then relax the hands down to the floor. Flip the fingertips so they're pushing against the floor. Try to stay in that back and down position with the shoulders. It's the place where you feel like you have a little bit of a lift up in the center of the sternum. And then keep that light pressure into your fingertips as you one more time drop the head to one shoulder. Try to have the ear face the shoulder. And as you press lightly into those opposing fingertips, it's going to increase the sensation. Make sure it's a pleasant feeling. Come back with the head centered and then go to the other side. Some light pressure into your fingertips if you like that sensation. Good. And then lift back up. Great. Taking your right leg out to the side, have your left heel somewhere near your pelvis. So it could be further away if that's better for you. You can also prop under the knee, just grab your block or your blanket, and that's going to help the knee feel better or the hip feel better, or maybe both. So that's an option for you if you like to have it. Then with the hands beside your hips, thumbs forward, fingertips back. Again, press down into the hands or into the fingertips to assist in lifting the spine upwards. Then try to press down through the legs. So pressing down into the outer side of the left leg and into the back of the right leg. Start to feel nice and rooted. Good. Now we're going to turn towards the bent knee. And we're going to take a slight lean over it on an exhalation. But don't stay there. Inhale, lift back up and unwind back to center. Exhale, turn towards the straight leg. Lean over it. But don't stay. Inhale, lift back up, come through center. So keep going with your breath, leaning towards the bent knee side and then the straight knee side. And use your hands, your arms, to assist you in this movement. And then if it feels right, you can start to encourage a little more of a movement with the arms. So the arms start to become kind of bigger, maybe arcing in a rainbow shape, one at a time. Let's just see if you like that. Keep it smaller if that feels better to you. And if you want to work a little more into your core, try to lift both arms up together. Kind of feels like you're singing then. Like. All right. Next time you're in center, lift both the arms generally towards the sky, lift up and out of the waistline, stay long, and then exhale, just relax the arms down and switch the legs. The left leg out straight, right leg generally in. Make sure you prop on the knee if you need that extra support for the knee or the hip on this side. And let's stay in center. Once again, prop up with the arms, push down into the fingertips to lift up through your spine, and then ground through the legs. Start to get a little heavier through your base. And then when you're ready, starting with a slow motion, lean towards the bent knee. And then come up to center and come over the straight leg. And then start to go back and forth at your own pace, adding your own flair with your arms. Just make it yours. Do whatever feels best for your body. If you really want to work the core, both arms lift together. And the next time you're centered, take both arms up, lengthen through the sides of the body, really stretch, and then soften. Exhale, come on down. Good. Let's bring the soles of the feet together in our Tarasana. So this is our wider stance for the feet further away from the pelvis. Press down into the hands, lift tall. Again, you can support under the knees. You need 2 blocks so you can feel better. Let's get a nice lift through the spine. And then as the exhale comes, hinge forward from the pelvis, just tipping so that the tailbone starts to lift a little. You rock to the front edge of your sit bones. You can bring your hands forward for better support, even up onto the ankles. Some of you might even want to prop elbows onto your inner shins. That can help you to work into a bigger stretch if that's needed. You know you need more sensation in your body, more of a stretch if your mind starts to wander. So that's always why it's nice to find your edge. Where do you need to be? And we're all going to look differently. And then let's come back up to center. Crossing with the right leg in front in Sukhasana. We're going to come into a static twist. So turn to the right. Right hand comes right behind you. Left hand is anywhere along the legs that feels supportive. And turn the gaze over the right shoulder. Go ahead and unwind, and then switch to the left leg in front. And we'll twist the other way. So left hand comes behind, turn to the left, right hand wherever it needs to be for comfort. And come on back to center. Good. Let's stretch both legs out in front. It's possible you'll need a block for this, but maybe not. It kind of depends on how your side bend feels. We're going to start by leaning over onto the left hand and taking the right arm up for a side bend. If possible, you're going to walk your hands out a little bit further and try to lower the elbow to the floor. Now, if you start bending the elbow and it's not going to make it to the floor, that's when you bring your block and you can prop your elbow on your block. So it's going to reduce the sensation along the side of the body. And then bending the top elbow, just letting the hand kind of hang behind the head. And then open the elbow behind you, straightening out the arm as if you're going to do a circle, and then bring the hand forward. And then as you bend the elbow and sweep the hand behind, kind of like you're combing your hair back with your hand, you're like, hey, I'm cool, right? And then you unfold the arm, reach out into the side. So it's just a different way of doing an arm circle to the back. Just a little bit of a bend in the elbow. Good. Let that be the last one. And then using your top arm, lifting up and out, push into the bottom arm, and then just pause here in center. Hands right beside you. Pause for a breath or two. And we'll go to the other side. Right hand comes out, left arm reaches up. Take your time getting into the slightly deeper position, recognizing if you'd rather be on your elbow on a block. It is okay for this back hip to lift if it needs to. That might also ease some of that side bend. And then bending the elbow to have the hand just right behind the head. And you kind of circle back, sending the elbow behind you and then sweeping the arm down and forward. And then bending at the elbow as you come across the head and sweeping the hand from the hairline at the front to the hairline at the back. And then completing that circle that way. Good. That's it. Let's let this be the last one. And then using the top arm, reach up and out as you push into the bottom arm, and then come back to sitting. Prop yourself with your arms, help the spine to lengthen. Take a few breaths here. Good. Okay. So I'm going to just turn to the side so I still have my mat. We're going to move into our boat pose. This is a variation of Navasana, boat pose, where you can place your hands behind you to start. So you've got the spine long, but you have a slight lean to the back with your torso. Then bending the knees just enough to flex the feet and get a good contact with the floor by digging the heels into the ground and then isometrically drawing them back towards your hips. And as you activate that whole back line of the legs, you might even feel it work up into your lower back. So encourage your back muscles to get involved with the action of the legs. You might even feel like you're wrapping the muscles of the waistline around, kind of like you would be tying up a belt around the waistline. So see if you can feel the work all through the lower belly, the lower back. And if that all feels okay, see if you can bring your hands forward so that the arms are parallel to the floor. Good. Keep the action of the legs happening. Dig down, pull back with the heels. If you want a little more, you can lean back slightly more, but still try and keep the legs active. So rather than lift them up today, keep them on the ground. Good. Beautiful. Let's place the hands behind, straighten out the legs, soften the belly as the heart lifts up. You can also relax the legs, maybe even wave them side to side. One more breath, letting the chest open, letting the belly soften. And as you exhale, soften the elbows, soften the shoulders. And let's come forward into table position. We will be here for just a little bit, so definitely put a blanket under your knees if that makes you more comfortable while you're here. And once in table, we'll come into cat-cow. So exhale, lift the spine up towards the sky. Inhale, let the spine drop as the head and tailbone lift. Keep going back and forth between these two positions. Only moving as fast as your breath wants to move. And on your next inhalation, come into neutral spine, trying to make your back be just like the top of a table. Then bring your knees a little bit closer toward one another. And you're going to draw right knee in towards the chest as you exhale. And as you inhale, stretch the leg back and let the toes hover away from the floor a little bit. Heel no higher than the hip. Then keep going with that. Exhale, knee curves in as you curve the spine. Inhale, take the leg back straight behind you. A few more times, just like that. The next time the leg is out and toes hovering away from the floor, like straight behind you, walk the left hand forward and see if the fingers can either hover right away from the floor or you can take the left arm up next to the ear. Coming into our bird dog position. If you feel it too much in your low back, lower your toes closer to the floor or even touch the floor. Good. And release. Knee and hand down. Sway the hips gently side to side. We'll go right over to the other side. So first make your spine nice and long, the back feeling much like the top of a table. Stretch the left leg back. And then exhale, draw the knee in towards the chest. Inhale, stretch the leg back. Exhale, curl in. Keep going with your breath. Try to have the heel not lift any higher than the hip. Next time the leg is out straight behind you, see if you can reintroduce that nice tabletop formation with your back. Right hand comes forward, hovers from the floor, or lifts next to the ear. Feel the length of your body as you try to strengthen all along your back. Beautiful. Come on down. Settle down with the knee first, sway the hips, and then come back to child's pose. So you could either come hips to heels. Some people will feel better keeping the hips above the knees and take child's pose more lifted. So that's going to be better in some people's body. Do try to have your head below your heart if possible. And if your head could be on a surface, either a block or your stacked fists, that's a good thing. Wherever you are, try to soften as much as you can. Allow yourself to rest as you focus on your breath. And gradually lift your head and then crawl all the way forward to lying on the belly, crocodile pose. As you lie on your belly, notice if you'd like to have a blanket underneath of your pelvis, because sometimes the floor can feel really hard depending on the surface that's under you. Elbows are out to the side. You can turn the head and rest it on your hands. You could also have the forehead down straight on the hands. Pause for a few breaths. And then center the head and reach the fingertips forward. Reach straight out through your arms as much as you can. And then back up the elbows just enough that you feel like you've spun the pointy part of your elbow straight down. So you're propped up into a very elongated Sphinx pose. For some of us, this is where we feel the best in Sphinx, where most of the front of the body is still on the floor and really only the head is lifted. But you do want to feel like you've gotten a little bit of support from your elbows. So if you need to bring them back a little bit more, go ahead and do that. Now we're going to just sway side to side. So you can think about letting one shoulder come forward as the other goes behind. And your head just kind of sways side to side along with the movement of your shoulders. So one shoulder forward as the other goes back, and just go from one side to the other a few more times. The next time you're centered, pause, and then back up the elbows an inch or two. They still shouldn't be quite underneath of your shoulders. And if this position feels too intense in your shoulders or in your back, then go ahead and come back to the first position. And then same thing as before, you'll let one shoulder come forward as the other comes back. Swaying side to side. Another thing, if you're feeling too much in your low back, is you could take your feet as wide as your mat. I wouldn't go any wider than that. Sometimes that's all the space you need to feel okay while you sway. And then come back into center, pause. And then the last place, elbows come back a little bit more. So the elbows are more or less right under your shoulders. And then that's our last side to side sway. One shoulder forward as the other comes back. Just do that a few times. And then the next time you're centered, stay centered, and we're going to activate our Sphinx pose by grounding through the base. Tops of the feet press down, press into the pelvis, press into the elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, fingertips. Feel the length through the rest of your body. Feel the reach through the back and the crown of the head. Take another breath. And then slowly release. Elbows swing out to the sides, hands come back under the head. Pause to breathe. Relax. And then bringing the hands generally under your shoulders. Bring your feet a little bit closer in again. And you're going to do one big push up to a knee plank and then sink back for child's pose. Come into whatever version of child's pose feels the best to you. And now reaching the arms forward, come through table on your way to downward facing dog. Toes under, hips up. Once in down dog, pedal your heels. You can even pause as you bend the knee and reach through the opposing heel. And switch. Eventually come into stillness. Push the floor away with your hands and your feet. And then slowly walk feet and hands in towards one another for Uttanasana, standing forward fold. And from here, we'll go into our ski jumper by bending the knees forward and sinking the hips back. And then either crawling elbows to thighs or hands to thighs. One of those will feel better in your body. So either hands on the thighs or elbows on the thighs. Lengthen the spine, either position. You're trying to stretch the spine long. Another few breaths here. If you want the extra challenge, wing the elbows out to the sides without changing anything else in your body. Feel those legs working. Good. Push into the feet, reach for the sky, and then slowly lower the arms by the sides. Coming into mountain pose, Tadasana. Take a few breaths here. See if you can just completely relax the arms. What does it feel like? Where will your arms kind of naturally hang? And if you want to move them around first and then softly let them hang, just notice how that feels. Make sure there is a little bit of space between your feet, or a lot, depending on where you feel the most stable. And then we're just going to start to move the upper arm bones through internal and external rotation. So on internal rotation, your arms generally start to move forward. It's as if your hands could lead the motion, but I want you to actually feel like the upper arm bone is leading the motion. But the hands spin palms back and then thumbs back, palms out. And your heart sinks in a little bit and your upper arm bones move slightly forward. So this is internal rotation. And then external, the palms start to move the other direction where the palms go forward and then out with the thumbs back. And you get this sense of a lift in the center of the sternum. You've got this full external rotation in the upper arm bones. So start to go back and forth between the two. It's easier to think about the hands leading the motion. You could do it that way, but what I want you to really notice is the internal and then external rotation in the upper arm bone. And see if you can let the exhalation carry you into internal rotation, and inhalation is external. So exhale, chest collapses. Inhale, chest lifts. Another way of thinking about it, but it's all coming from the arms. And then notice if your head wants to move along with that motion. Maybe it already is. And it's fine if your arms are further away from your body. Sometimes that starts to feel better. In fact, you might start to notice that on the inhale, your arms reach out and start to come a little higher. So encourage your arms to lift a little higher on the inhale. And maybe that lift starts to get even bigger. You have to move more quickly though. And pretty soon, you're really doing what we call sun breath, which is inhale, arms up, exhale, arms down. But you're adding that extra movement in the upper arm bone, the internal and external rotation. Good. And then let's let this be the last one. And let's just relax a moment. Relax the arms down, pause to breathe. Good. Let's bring hands to the waist. And then planting weight over into one of your feet, the other knee will lift up, swing out, and then step right back down. Stay with that side a few times. Standing hip circles. If you need to hold on to something, definitely do that. Because while we are challenging our balance, it's really better to get the movement for the pelvis and the hip. Good. Let's let this be the last one on this side. Reestablish your stance. And as you're ready, move to the other side. Knee up, out, and down. You can make it as quick or slow as you prefer. And also keep it lower if you like. Let's let this be the last one. Come into stillness, reestablish your base. Look down, make sure you have some space between your feet. Again, whatever space you need for a nice stable mountain pose. We're going to move into our Ardha Surya Namaskar, half sun salutation. And for today, I want you to add that little thing we just did, that rocking in and out. You'll see how it fits in very well to our half salute. Hands to the heart and namaste. Exhaling, release the hands down. Feel that internal rotation. External rotation. Inhale, lift up and back. Exhale, fold forward. Internal rotation. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale down. And then reach the arms out. Get that nice external rotation as you reach up. Exhale, thumbs through midline. Begin again. Inhale up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, partway lift. Exhale down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale through center. Keep going on your own breath. Let's let this be the last one. And as you return back to center, just let the arms hang again. Just let them dangle. Keep Tadasana everywhere else. You feel light activation of the legs. You feel the spine as it rises out of the pelvis to the crown. Soften the shoulders as much as you can and feel any sensations along the arms and down into the hands. And let's bring hands to the waist and step out a wide stance. Moving into our side stance, right foot turns out 90 degrees, left heel comes out slightly. Let your arms be by your sides. Externally rotate through the upper arm bone. So you have that lift in the chest, palms out, thumbs back, and then slowly lift the arms to about shoulder height. And then flip the palms down without changing the upper arm bones. Turn the gaze to the right hand, and then exhale, bend the front knee into warrior two pose. So set your upper arm bones in this external rotation. Notice if that helps you to keep your heart lifting. Leave your legs as they are. As we move to dancing warrior, left hand will come to left thigh. Turn the right palm up again, and then start to take the right fingertips up towards the sky, and then over your head any amount as you side bend. And you can use your back hand supported on your leg to take some of the weight of your body, so you don't have to strain. Good, come back up through center, straighten the front leg. Let's come to triangle. Reach out, tip through the pelvis, and then come on down. Right hand to the right leg. Left arm could be straight up or hand on the hip. If you want a little extra stretch for your shoulder, you could internally rotate the top arm and then tuck the hand behind you, letting the back of the hand rest on the sacrum or maybe the waistline, or maybe all the way down towards the right hip or thigh. Find the place that feels good to you. And only do this if it's adding something. If it's causing pain or strain, come on out. Okay. Free the top arm. Push into the feet. Lift back up to stand. Good. Bring the hands to the waist. Pivot the feet first to the side and then to the left. Left foot out. Right heel out slightly. Arms by the sides to take external rotation, lifting up through the heart, and then floating arms. Once the arms are in position, don't change anything about the upper arm bones, just flip the palms to the bottom to face the floor, and then exhale, bend the front knee. Goes over the left hand. Try and emphasize the lift through the chest. Bring the right hand down to the right thigh. Flip the left palm back up and then sweep the arm towards the sky, reaching up and over with the fingertips, side bend. Use your back hand against the thigh. You like. Good. Come back through center. Straightening the front leg, come into triangle. Tip the pelvis, reach out, and come down. Left hand somewhere along the left leg. Right arm could be straight up or on your hip. Just pause there to get steady. And only if you want to, you could internally rotate through the top arm and tuck the hand behind you. Should feel like a pleasant stretch on the shoulder. If it's too much, then go hand on hip or back straight from into your regular triangle pose. Okay. Pressing into the feet, free the top arm, and then lift to stand. Good, hands to the waist, flip the feet, and then step together. Mountain pose. Take some breaths, relax the shoulders. If that means that the hands kind of fall right beside you, and even relaxing all the way from the neck down. Let's externally rotate through the upper arm bones. Feel that nice lift in the chest. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Bending the elbows, connect the hands, and then lower the hands down to the heart. Let the elbows be out to the sides. Forearms are more or less parallel to the floor. Good. And then pressing the thumbs right against the center of the sternum and the palms together. Let that help you to feel centered. So you're joining right and left sides of the body, right here in the middle of your chakra system, right at your heart. Settle your gaze somewhere that's not going to move. Keep the arms working as you put the weight over into one of your feet, bending the knee forward and lifting the heel on the other side. Maybe the knee will lift, the toes will float. If that's happening, fine, open the knee to the side and come into tree leg by settling the sole of the foot somewhere along your standing leg. So sometimes having the hands in this position and actually lifting the heart up into the hands can give you a sense of being centered, and it might help you hold here. Or you can just put your hand on something. Good. Let's release this side. Settle the arms by the sides again. Take a few breaths. Your mindful mountain. And then on the next inhalation, open the arms, external rotation, lift them up towards the sky. As you're exhaling, hands come down, elbows to the side, palms pressing together. With the hands resting at the center of the sternum, get that pressure. Press chest up into thumbs, thumbs back into chest, and right hand into left hand. As you're ready, the weight will go into the other foot. Knee will bend. Maybe toes will hover. Knee will open. Sole of the foot comes to rest. It's always okay to hold on to something. Or you can put your foot down on the floor, kickstand version. Good. When you feel done with this side, release. The arms hang. And take some full breaths. Good. Let's bring hands to the waist. Stepping out a wide stance, we're going to move into front stance next. So the right foot will turn out 90 degrees. Left foot will turn toes more forward towards the left side of your mat as you angle your hips and ribs more towards the short edge of your mat. Then with an inhalation, take the arms generally up towards the sky. And on an exhalation, bend the front knee. Coming into your warrior one pose. Feel free to do alternate arm positions. You could do elbows out to the sides like cactus or goalpost. Maybe you want to keep hands on the waist. Maybe you want to reach the arms forward. The higher your arms are, the higher your heart rate will go. So also be mindful of how that feels for you. Now lowering the arms down, keep your warrior one stance, but taking your hands either to your waist or draping your arms behind you, holding onto wrists or forearms. We're going into dancing warrior by exhaling and hinging forward from the pelvis. Try to keep your back leg really straight and press the heel into the ground. More and more of the work is on the front leg. Knees bent roughly with the ankle. It could be a little behind, it could be a little in front, as long as the knee feels okay. Feel that work. It's a great hip strengthener, knee strengthener, ankle strengthener. Take one more breath if you can. Stay right here. And then lift back up to stand straight in the front leg. Release the arms. And then step together. Let's take a break between sides. Tadasana. Good work. Let's go to the other side. Stepping out wide stance. Left foot turns out 90 degrees. Right toes come more forward and take the foot closer to the right side of your mat as you angle your hips towards the short edge. When you're ready, warrior one is first. The arms will float on an inhale. The front knee will bend on an exhale. Alter your arm position as it's better for your body. If your heart rate gets to be so fast that you're breathing in and out of your mouth only, then definitely lower your arms down. Or maybe your shoulders just need a break. As much as you can, you try to breathe in and out of the nose. If you must, you can breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Leaving your leg stance as it is, lower the arms down to either hands on the waist or holding on for a bind behind you. Then using an exhalation, hinge forward from the pelvis. Humble warrior. Notice any minor adjustments you need to make in order to feel stronger in the front leg. Can you hold here? Anytime you need to come out, of course you do. Press strongly into the back heel. Keep that back leg nice and grounded. Lift back up to stand. Release your arms, pivot the feet, step together. Awesome. Well done. Take some breaths. Mindful in your mountain. Okay. So now we're going to move into our eagle arms, and then we're going to couple that with warrior 3 legs. Okay, so it is another balance. It is our last one for today. So we're going to have the arms out, and you're trying to stack your elbows as much as you can, and we start with the right arm under. So right arm under the left. You can swing them together for either a hook or a hug, where the hands are resting somewhere on the upper arm bones or maybe the shoulders. And some of you like the bind. Now binding is a lot more intense. I'm going to stay with hug, but feel free to bind if that works for you. Now, placing the weight over into one of your feet, slide the other foot behind you. So you're resting up on the ball of the foot and toes. Now this might be where we stay. If you keep that supporting leg, the standing leg nice and straight, and you keep putting more and more weight into it by leaning slightly forward, you'll keep lightening the back foot. Maybe you lighten so much that the back toes lift from the ground. And maybe they only lift a moment before they have to be put down again. Just see where this takes you today. Make it yours. Don't feel that you have to be static. But if you are, that's okay too. When you feel done, step down. Notice the foot that you stood on first, and then release your arms. Just want to pay attention to that so you don't do the same side twice. Good. Take a few breaths. Let's do the other side. Arms will come up. Left elbow under the right for that hook or hug or bind. Once you have your position, the weight shifts over into the other foot as you slide the toes back. Again, you can rest on the ball of the foot with the pads of the toes on the floor. Maybe you lean enough to get up onto the very tippy toes. Just keep playing with transferring the weight as much as your body will do. Maybe the toes will lift. Make it yours. Move any way you need to. Come out whenever you're done. Good. All right, let's go ahead and release and relax the arms down. Take some breaths here. Good work. Okay. We're going to come down to sitting now. So come onto the floor. So last week we talked a little bit, because we were seated more last week. I think we were in this class. We're seated a little bit more. You might want to have a blanket under your hips. It definitely helps as we go into some of our seated work, because it especially helps if you feel like you have tighter hamstrings, if you have a tighter lower back, or if you have osteoporosis or osteopenia. You just want that little extra height, because it allows for more ease in the movement forward of the spine. Okay. And we are going to start with Paschimottanasana. So the legs are out in front of you. Hands can be by the hips. Press into the hands to lift through the spine. If you like, you can take the arms up on an inhale, and an exhale, lean forward and come on down with the hands somewhere along the legs. Maybe the shins, ankles, toes. You can let your chin fall towards your chest. Keep the feet flexed. And then let's come on up. Great. And then returning to Tarasana, soles of the feet together, knees out to the side, but heels pretty far away. We're going to go into that version of pigeon we've been doing recently. So you're going to lean your weight over into your right hip. And then without letting your foot drag on the floor, bring your left foot back. So sometimes knees and hips won't be in this position. Okay, so if that is you, if your knee or your hip says no way, then go for a straight leg. Okay, straight left leg, bent right. Okay, because this still works this way. So either with the knees bent or not, you're going to turn towards your right knee. Line up your torso with the right thigh. And then start to walk the hands forward as you lean over the leg. And you're just leaning to that point where you start to feel some sensation. Hopefully it feels like a hip release. You can come down to your elbows. You can even come down further. Some of you might even want to prop your head with a block or a blanket. The back leg is as relaxed as possible, whether it's bent or straight. Take a nice breath in and slowly start to lift up. Now keep the weight into the right leg as you straighten out the left. Try not to drag the foot. Good. And then return to Tarasana. And we'll repeat that on the other side. So lean over into the left hip. So you might be able to fold the right leg back. The knees are kind of aligned, right straight across from one another. Keep this right leg straight if that's going to work better in your body, and then turn to face the left knee. Line up the torso more or less with the thigh. And slowly help yourself down over that leg any amount. And we're looking for some sense of release, especially for the outer hip. So you can feel free to play around with where you need to have your body, your arms. And this is a general guideline, but we're all different. So find that place where you feel like you could relax and receive a stretch for your hip. Next, nice big inhale, and then you'll slowly start to help yourself up. Keep the weight in the left hip as you bring the right leg forward. Okay, we're going to come down onto our back next. So you could bend your knees with the feet flat and do your slow descent for a little extra abdominal work, but if you don't want to, that's okay too. Eventually you'll come to lying on your back. Let's have knees bent, feet flat to start, and just get used to lying on the floor. Notice how that sensation really changes when you come onto your back. See if you can release more into the earth. Just let yourself be held by the earth. And then drawing the knees in, one hand on each knee, allow the knees to open out to the sides. So you're just going to let the knees direct more towards the outer sides of the rib cage. Have your pelvis on the floor though. Try not to curl up. It's not a lot of extra pressure on your low back. You just might start feeling a bit of an inner thigh stretch. So you could stay right here, especially if you're getting enough inner thigh stretch. If you want to go for a little bit more, the arms are going to come inside of the legs, and you're going to reach down with the hands to grab the shins or the fronts of the ankles. And then you can direct the soles of the feet together and use the elbows on the shins or the thighs to keep those knees opening. So it's like a reclined Baddha Konasana, but it's reclined with the feet up. And then we'll change the sensation by gradually guiding the soles of the feet up to come into your happy baby. So you can do your happy baby with your hands still holding the fronts of the shins or ankles. Some of you might be able to reach out and grab the feet. It kind of depends on what's going to feel better in your body. The knees are still opening wide. They're still being directed towards the outer ribs. And happy baby, they're even getting closer to your armpits. Soles of the feet up. And you could do your rocking. Some people like to rock, but it's okay to stay steady too. And then if it seems right in your body, you can slowly start to straighten one of your legs. Not necessarily straight, but just unfold the knee some until you change the sensation of stretch. Now, if there's anything about that that doesn't seem right for you, because it can intensify sensations in the ankle, knee, and hip, then don't do it. And then come back to that knee bent and explore straightening the other leg. Again, it doesn't have to go all the way straight to change sensation. Just exploring where it wants to go. Where do you still feel okay and safe? Good. And then lower down that. And then release the feet. Knees stay close into the chest. And then drop the knees over to one side for your floor twist. Arms can be out in a T or in your cactus arms. If anything about this is too intense, then put a blanket or a block under the knees. That'll make it more comfortable. And then taking one knee up and then the other to come back to center. And then we'll go over to the other side. The knees drop to the other side. Have your arms in a comfortable position. Notice if you need to pad under the knees on this side, do so if it's needed. Bring top leg up first and then center yourself. It's time for Shavasana. So take the time to adjust your body into final relaxation. Make sure you're warm enough. Make sure you're comfortable enough. And feel your body being held by the earth. And notice all of the places where your body is against the floor. And feel as though Get heavier into those spaces. Relax the back of the head, the shoulder blades, backs of the arms, backs of the hands, the back of the pelvis, including the buttocks, calf muscles, the heels. All of these spaces get heavy. And just feel softness come into the front of the body, especially the forehead, the eyes, the jaw. Relax the muscles of the chest, the abdomen. Relax the pelvis. Just relax through the arms and the legs. And if a thought makes its way into your awareness, effortlessly release it. Allow yourself to rest fully and deeply. Slowly start to bring the awareness back into your physical body. Feeling your body lying against the earth. Allow your breath to deepen. When you're ready, start to awaken the body by gently wiggling fingers and toes. And eventually bending the knees to place the feet flat. Rolling to one side before slowly making your way up to a comfortable seat. Sitting tall, let's bring hands to heart. Internally restate your dedication or intention. Seal in practice with Om. Om Shanti. May you be at peace. May your heart remain open. May you awaken to the light of your own true nature. May you be healed. May you be the source of healing for all beings. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for being here. Have a good day.